Oh crap, hold on. Wait 1 second. Let's put some music there. Did that work? Yes. Okay. Hi everyone, this is Lauren coming at you from the Break Zone with a special episode of Final Fantasy, the trading card game news. So we're going to go over some of the major archetypes that are coming up in the World Championship 2018. So if you're not watching, you should be. Day 1 finished and it was amazing. I actually didn't get to watch the whole VOD. I had to go to work, unfortunately, but I did get to watch a little bit of the action and it was very fun. So I made a little slideshow. I took some of the pictures. I'll put some links below later on of the deck lists that were posted on Facebook from the Final Fantasy EU Europe page on Facebook, and I'm gonna go over some of the archetypes for you. So let me clean this up a little bit so that you can see everything a little bit better. And we're gonna start a slideshow. I'm gonna go over the decks. Obviously, I'm not gonna do a full-on what's it called, deck tech about every deck, but we will discuss the things that are going on a little bit, some of the cards. So let me see if everybody's ready to go. And well, the slideshow took me a little bit of time. I tried to crop the pictures a little bit. I've got to say the quality of some of the pictures weren't the best, but hey, you know what? We're gonna go with that. So Jamie Faulkner right now is in the top spot for the World Championship, and one of his decks is Wind Water. We did expect Wind Water to make a showing, as it was pretty dominant in the Europe Championship that just happened a little bit less than a month ago, leading up to this event. Keep in mind, the World Championship was to qualify for the, the Europe Championship was set to qualify for the World Championship, where while the EU was only for participants from the EU, for players from there. And Jamie Faulkner, I think he qualified for World over in Spain, and he is still representing the UK, and one of his decks is, well, as we said, Wind Water. So the list, let's see, a little bit of Opus 7 is showing up. I mean, we've got Yuri, Cecil, Ilaria, oh crap, I forgot to say that name. Alhanlum, Shalinka, and Halicarnassus. Great cards. I mean, something you have to keep in mind is Halicarnassus is pretty darn handy against those Dalumas, but you have other ways to go around it anyways. It's a Fusoya based deck, I believe. Actually, wait, no, made a mistake. No Fusoya in this one. So Wind Water, and you will notice that there's 2 Diablos, not 3, because this is a 3-deck format. And one of the other decks that Jamie Faulkner piloted actually was Wind Earth. So in this one, he put the last copy of Diablos that he was allowed to play. And in this deck, you can see that there's a little bit of a Opus 7 influence, obviously. Galdez making a showing to be one of the cards that you can search out with Camelot, as well as Nash. What is it? I think it's Nash, Noctis, and Yojimbo. All right. Next up, we've got a mid-range mono ice deck from that looks somewhat familiar. He did get to sneak in an Emperor, a Sephiroth, and a Laswell. So moving on to the next player. So in second place right now. So they're going to go into top 8, and there's a whole bracket and everything, and I actually don't have a picture of it, so I'm just really going over the decks. I just want to make sure that if people haven't tuned in, that hopefully they get a little hyped up for this event, because some of these decks are really spicy. Mono Water was expected to make a showing, and here it is. So it actually has no cards from Opus 7, but it is a very strong deck, making a show of how Fusoya can play out with EX Burst. Alright, there's also Turbo Discard. Everybody expected to see quite a bit of Turbo Discard, but it seems that there's very few in the top 8. Over here, you will notice some Opus 7 influence with Snow and Sarah. So Sarah does keep track of every Final Fantasy 13 character you have in play when she enters the field. So that will include Jill Nabat as well as Snow. So when she enters the field, counting Jill Nabat and Snow and herself, that would be 3 forwards that you can duel on your opponent's side. Also, Jill Nabat is quite useful against Fusoya based decks that people were expected to see in at the World Championship. All right, and third place we've got Hunter Ness, the Ranch Master, showing up with mono win. So keep in mind that as I showed these archetypes, if I haven't shown these archetypes prior to that, that's because this is the first. When you count from the top, from first place down to number 8, if I show a deck archetype, it's because this is the top spot that showed that archetype, and there would be other deck versions of those decks that are around. But I'm not going to show every single one of them because that would make the video way too long and I don't want to bore you too much. So mono win making a showing, people were expecting it to do quite well in Opus 7 with the Yuri Shalinka package, Vata actually making, and Cecil being quite huge. If you didn't get to watch the stream, I will post the link to the stream from day 1. You might be able to catch the majority of it before you go into day 2, as day 2 is going to happen in just a few hours. So please tune into that. I know it might be quite early in the morning for some people. I'm going to try to stay awake and watch it. Unfortunately, I was not able to watch the whole stream for day 1 because I had work. I did think about calling in sick just so I could watch more of it. It was really exciting. You get to see some of these players just showcase their skills. It was really fun to watch. All right, Hunter Nest also showing up with an Ice Earth deck, and let's see, some Opus 7, the Flan package. So Ice Flan, being able to search out Earth Flan or other Ice Flans, as well as Noctis making a showing for Opus 7. So this is a lot of fun. One copy of Kuja, as we saw in the North America Championship, that sometimes you want Kuja so that you could break your Ice backups. Shantoto, by the way, also counts as an Ice backup so that you can give yourself maybe an extra card, an extra push, an extra dull freeze to go for the win. So Kuja, unless you play it out by paying its full cost, be very careful when you start breaking your backups because it's going to set you back quite a bit if you do so. So unless it's a final push for the finish, it is something that you have to be very careful about using. Okay. Next up, we've got in the 4th spot, Josh Ge, and Mono Lightning making a showing in the top 4. Anybody that's a big fan of Dragoons, well, there's a couple of them. There's Kane and Estinian making a showing, as well as Sid Previa from Opus 7 and Raubahn, and well, Yuri and Garland. So those starter cards that come in the heroes versus the villains and heroes deck, 2-player decks, I can't recommend it highly enough. If you're a new player or even if you're a veteran, there are so many cards that have a lot of value, and even if you're a veteran, those starter cards are actually very useful. So if you haven't taken a look at it, please do so. I personally have a copy of it myself, and I am looking to get foil copies of those starter cards. Okay, next up in 7th place, a very spicy deck. So a lot of people were very hyped to see Leo, but we haven't seen it show up too much, at least in the North America scene. I did get to see a deck that played the package of Leo and Ramza in the stream in day 1, and Jason Z was able to make it to top 8 with this deck, and it is so much fun. Phoenix and Kryl making a showing. Haven't seen those too much since Opus 3. I think it was Opus 3 or 4, when I think Kyle McGinty had a deck that he used, as well as one of our locals, Philip Marciano, doing very well with it. This is a complete toolbox deck. It has Layla Vikings for Ozzo's draw engine, and it has Delita being able to break a Viking or a Layla in order to break opposing forwards, as well as Ovelia giving both Delita and Ramza buffs, and Ramza being able to go in with haste at 10,000 power with all those forwards you'll have in play, from the Layla, the Vikings, the Leo, and Leo gets big. Cloud of Darkness. This looks like a very fun deck. I hope that Jason shows off this deck, goes in a little bit of a deck tech video in the future when he gets back from Worlds. Maybe he'll be the champion, and if he is, I'd be very happy to see him showcase this deck. A lot of fun. Well, I'll post a link to his channel later in the YouTube channel in the comments, so that everybody can go ahead and check out his content as well. And I think I have one more deck to show off. Last but not least, Toby Henriette. So he is the returning champion from the World Championship 2017, and he is the only one that had a mono Earth deck. So you start seeing some cards that made a showing in some of the other decks as well. Obviously from the toolbox, Nymphilia, 6-drop, making a very good showing. Yuri, and even in this deck, if anybody likes Prish, getting a 2 Prish to go into a 9 Prish is gonna be a lot of fun. I did make a deck tech video earlier on showcasing mono Earth, and a combination of Enacro and Ingus would allow you to break an opposing forwards by playing Raubahn, and Raubahn would survive from his own effect. As Raubahn enters the field, targets an opposing forward, deals it 9,000 power, and then has to deal 9,000 power to itself. And well, Zazat making a showing as well as Asmodai. So if you're not familiar with Zazat, you would be able to pitch Earth to discard Earth cards to get 2 Earth CP in order to give him plus 2,000 power. And there's also all these other little effects that he does have and that he can do. And if you have Chantildo on the field, you would be able to get that 1 CP of the other elements that you need. And since you're playing mono Earth, you're more than likely have an Earth backup that you can dole for Earth CP in order to be able to activate all of those effects. So that's it for the slideshow. Hopefully you have a lot of fun. I will put links a little bit later to everything else, and that way you would be able to catch the stream. Hopefully you are caught up to all the wonderful events that are going on today, and you'll be able to catch the rest of the stream. Otherwise, thank you very much for tuning in. A major shout out to our sponsor, magictechgames.com. And if you are a subscriber to our YouTube channel, whether you're a subscriber now or you have subscribed previously, when we reach 800 subscribers, and it looks like at least at 900 and 1,000, we'll also be doing a giveaway. So we'll pick one of our subscribers at random, and then we'll get to pick one out of one of these prizes, and we'll send it out to them. And just check out the rules in the YouTube comments, YouTube description. You'll be able to figure out everything else. They'll be able to pick between a Mox Amber from Dominaria, Horizon Canopy from Iconic Masters, Cactuar Character Sleeves, a 60-pack, Lightning Plushie from Final Fantasy 13, and a Shiva deck box from the Toronto Crystal Cup with the autograph of Toru Kageyama, one of the producers of the game. So hopefully you enjoyed this, you're caught up to speed, and I will put links down below to various people's channels, as well as the link to the VOD on Twitch for day 1 of the World Championship. And if you tune into that and maybe set a reminder, you will get an alert when day 2 begins, and you'll be caught up on all the fun. So hopefully we'll catch you there. I will most likely be in the chat along with so many of our great community members. And if you like what we do, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, to the Twitch channel as well. And otherwise, any comments, questions, feel free to add them down below. We're also looking at what we might be able to add on to the giveaways for when we reach 800 subscribers. So if you have any suggestions, go ahead and put them down below. I'll see if I can make that happen. Try not to do anything too crazy, but you know what? Start high, and I'll try to work the way down afterwards and see what we can compromise with in terms of what kind of things we can give away. So hopefully we'll catch you soon. And well, I'll be watching Worlds, and hopefully you will be too.